Hi guys, I'm tying Irish shrimp fillet. This is one of the most famous of all. This is the Bann special, and it's probably accounted for thousands upon thousands of salmon down the years. So I like tying mine with red thread. Some people like a black head. What we're going to do is put on a little bit of a silver rib for a butt. So this is a medium. You can use fine, but the reason I'm using a medium is that it'll kick up a little bit. Whenever I tie on the golden pheasant breast, I can use it to sort of splay it. So there's a couple of ways you can do this. You can wrap your silk right back to the back here and then wrap your tinsel forward, or what'll probably sit better is to wrap it backwards. And as you can see, the slope of the hooks is forcing it forward and should give you nice tight turns. So once you get as far back as you want, take that through and through the forks of the treble. I'm using an Esmonduri treble here because I think it would be my hook of choice for a shrimp fillet, just because it has that little bit of extra weight in it. And because a shrimp fillet in itself is sort of like a parachute, it's sort of 360 degrees, so a hook is balanced better to me if it is a treble. But if you want to tie it on a double, tie it on a double. So now what I'm going to do is take a little bit of pearl crystal here, and I'm going to tie that on the top, double it over, and then we'll wrap that back to our tinsel butt. Now you notice as I'm wrapping, because the treble hook, I'm doing a sort of a 3-point sort of wrap. It's not a straight round wrap, because all that'll do is hit the points of the hook and cut your thread. Now this is longer than what it needs to be, and the reason for that is that I will then cut it off to the length of my golden pheasant breast feather. So, golden pheasant breast feather. I have mine sorted out into sort of fly sizes if you want. So I have the fluff bit pulled off this. What I'm going to do is find the tip of the feather, and then I'm going to double the hackle so that all the fibres are on one side. Now, there I do have a video on the techniques on how to double feathers. Hopefully I should get you a link of that up. So I have my feather doubled, so what I'm going to do is tie it in by its tip, and I'll tie the tip in on the top between the 2 points of the hook, and then I'll fold with one turn just to hold it in place. I'll then pull that back, and then as the stalk folds over, I'm just going to tie that in, get a few wraps just to create a little level bed of silk for it to wrap the hackle on. So, put our hackle in our hackle pliers, and again you have to sort of weave it in and out of the hook points, trying to get the stalk of the feather to lie in tight turns. Now once I get it wrapped, I'm going to take off a few wraps of my tie-in thread to get me back into the tie-in point, and tie that off and come forwards up the shank with it in sort of open turns. So you can see this is all tangled in through the hooks. So if I blow at it from behind, it'll largely separate that out, and whatever it doesn't, you can just take something pointy like a needle or a pair of tweezers or whatever here to unwrap that. Alright, this is the point where you start to get your fingers stabbed. So you can stroke all this back, or take something like a biro or a straw and just slide that in, and that'll sort of push these fibres back for you, and then once you get them back, hold them in place, and then we can better tie in our hackle. So I'm tying back up to that if you want, or if your hackle wraps have come too far forward, you can actually wrap over it a little bit and use the butt to splay it out. And now I have the length of my tail, I'll just take my pearl crystal hair and cut them off at that length. So the rib for the body is the same as the butt. It's a silver tinsel, oval. Tie that in, back up to our tail, and the rear of this body I'm going to use a yellow seal's fur. So we can put a bit of wax onto our thread, and then I'm going to twist the dubbing onto our tie-in thread. So now I want to get my tie-in thread right back against the tail tie-in and wrap forward to about the halfway point there. Then we take our silver rib and we're going to get on 2 or 3, this is a size 10, so I'm going to try for 3 turns of tinsel, tie it off on the side, on my side, then fold the tinsel forward and tie it in across either the side or the top of the hook and cut it off. Middle hackle on a Bann special is orange or a burnt orange. I'm going to go here for an orange badger hackle. So I just like the effect that it gives. Again, I'm going to double that hackle, crack off the tip and tie it in by the last millimetre or so of stock. One turn is enough to hold it in place, and then a couple of turns or so across the stock when it's folded will secure it. Now we'll wrap this on. Number of turns is up to yourself. Some people like very sparse shrimps, so they may only put 1 turn of hackle on. I'm going to go for 2. Tie it in on the side, tie forward a little bit and trim that off. Reattach our tinsel. Just using my finger and thumb to pinch my hackle back in position, but up to yourself whether you want to tie back on it or not, or leave it full. Some people fish very, very perpendicular hackles, and the idea behind that is that you get a lot more movement. But obviously they don't sink as well. Front section, black seal's fur. So I'm going to wax up my thread. Dub on the black. Tie it back to our orange hackle and then come forward. The front section I usually put a turn fairly close in front of the middle hackle and then come forward. Probably 2 turns is really all you're going to get, because the front section is usually that little bit shorter than the rear section. Tie that in, trim it off, create a smooth bed of silk. So at this point you can choose to put on jungle cock as either eyes or as a roof. On this fly I'm going to put them on as eyes, so I'm going to add the front hackle now. For this we're going to use a badger hackle, white, although some people like it with a sort of more honey badger. So this here is an example of one where I roofed it, so it stuck to it, and that I used a more of a honey badger colour. So here we're using a silver or a white badger, and again I'm going to double that hackle, snap the tip, tie it one turn, fold it over on itself, 2 or 3 turns to lock it in position, and then we'll wrap that silver badger hackle. So you can see I sort of stick my fingers in the way as I wrap hackles, and what I'm doing there is I'm just folding the stalk. I'm using, by pushing the fibres, I'm rotating the stalk so it will lie in the position I want it. So I've got 2 turns on there. I get through the fibres of that and tie it in. If you want it to be more secure, you can fold that back and just tie over that again, and then we'll snip that off. So that's our fly tied ready for our jungle cock. So I'm going to pick a couple of jungle cock eyes off my cape here. One from one side and one from the other side. And what I'll do here is I'm going to pull back all this fluffy bit, and I'm going to tie it in hopefully on this little enameled bit here. Put that on my side. A couple of turns to hold it in place. Over to this other side here, same thing, strip of feather. And then I'll just take this one slightly longer, so I'm just going to pull it slightly until I'm happy enough that they're the same length. You can cut that off now if you want, or fold these stalks back on themselves and tie over them just for a bit more security. And now it's time to finish off the head. So I'm going to take a little bit of super glue. I'm going to super glue a couple of inches or so of my thread, and then I'll wrap that on. As you can see, the glue is starting then to coalesce and create like a little bleb, almost like varnishing the head. And then I will do a series of half hitches into that. That'll settle down into that blob of glue, and it'll glue the whole thing in position. So that is our Bann special. As I said, I don't think any angler, certainly in the north of Ireland, should be without a range of these in their fly box. If you like what you see, like and subscribe to the channel, and then you'll be kept updated with whatever flies I upload as I upload them. And in the meantime, hope to see you again, and tight lines, and thanks for watching.